is there somewhere where they can where people can access the information of how the mead is scored so that they can try judging their own meads, not individual meads, but the sheets, the blank sheets themselves? Because he says this would be helpful for someone abroad who can't easily get their mead to a competition like the MCI.
So is he asking where we store the meads or where he should store the meads?
No. He's asking, can he get copies of blank score sheets?
Of blank score sheets?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All he needs to do is go to the bjcp.org and go to the mead supplies there. There's a section for mead, and he'll find a blank score sheet there that he can print out.
Fabulous. Great. Brandon, there you go. Go to bjcp.org under the mead section, and those are the score sheets we're using.
Yep, definitely. And Brandon, thanks for calling in, man. Hope things out there in Malta are good. I bet you get some interesting honeys.
We got a cool and a great big smile. Okay, for those of you out there listening, we're talking to Pete Bakulic, president of the Mazer Cup International, and Oscar to those of you who know him on the forums and through Got Mead and through this. If you would like to call in and ask questions about the Mazer Cup or how things are done or whether your stuff should come in, call us at 803-443-MEAD, MEAD. That's 803-443-6323.
Direct or collect on your touch-tone phone.
That's it. Or if you're international, you can Skype me through MeadWench, and I can add you that way, or you can just type your question.
Yeah, we had a really good, it was one of the things that happened during the course of the year is that Stowski Distributing, who was our international receiver up until this year, decided that they didn't want to move forward with being a receiver for our entries any longer. And so they kind of left us out in the cold there. And not that, that wasn't anything other than a standard business decision, which we completely understand, and we're very grateful for the support in the past. Moving forward, although it presented somewhat of a problem for us to receive international mead. We thought, we're going to see a real big gap in our international entries and such, and that just wasn't the case. As a matter of fact, we saw absolutely no downturn in the number of entries that we received from international mead makers,
both,
home and commercial. So it turned out really well. It looks like we have a couple of leads that we can follow now that look pretty promising. So we're going to track those down and see what we can do with them.
Okay. All right. Doug in the Netherlands asks, what role did UC Davis play in the Mazer Cup this year?
What role did UC Davis play?
Yeah. How are they involved?
Well, the only involvement they had usually is people from UC Davis coming to attend to see what it's all about. Although in the future we may be looking at having some of their School of Enology and Viticulture professors out to do seminars and such. So at this point, they are supportive. I'm involved with their mead courses out there at UC Davis, and I think we're working on coming together on some ideas for presenting some things in the way of seminars or multi-hour courses available at the Mazer Cup going forward. At least that's the vision that we have now. Making that happen a bit of a challenge because of the type of funding that it would take to get somebody of that caliber out in order to speak at the Mazer Cup. And in the meantime, we had someone, as I mentioned earlier, out from Oregon State University, and they're very, very aware of what's going on with mead as well, and they want to be involved. So, if it's not UC Davis, we may see somebody there from Oregon State University or from another university. We're open to any and all functions of academia that have wine or mead or beer programs. and have people that are wine or meat or beer scientists that are inclined to come out and share their knowledge with us, and kind of help us build this competition into more of a symposium, somewhat like the Unified Wine and Grape Symposium held in Sacramento every year for the wine industry. They have, different seminars on different kinds of things in the wine world, setting up a tasting room, canopy management for the grapes, vineyard management, different fermentation techniques, fermentation science, as well as having a big industry hall where all of the barrel makers and glass providers and stainless folks and all the support industries can show up, and they have a table there and people can go around and take a look at them. So down the road, as we move forward and we get more and more entries and more people involved, obviously we're going to need to expand the competition so it is able to support the many industries moving in. And in order to do that, we need to be...
Sorry, you cut out on that last little bit there, Pete.
Well, in order to do that, be able to be flexible enough to, recognize that opportunity and, make accommodations for it and grab onto it so that we can add it into our competition and growing into a symposium or into a festival, if you will.
Okay. So going into the future, then you see a fair amount of sideways expansion then into other areas, more activities.
Well, I see it, opportunities for all these things to happen, and the Mazer Cup, we need to leverage ourselves and the momentum that we have to being able to catch on to these when they're available and add them into our program over the course of, if it's right now, basically, we have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday kind of presence, and this may grow into a full week, starting on instead of on a Thursday, maybe it starts up on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or even Monday, a week-long thing. It just depends on where the industry goes and how we grow along with the industry as it grows, and being able to accommodate things, as well as recognizing trends in the industry. For instance, the popularity of session meads and the growth of that particular sector now. We have a number of entries in that. We split that out from just session mead to sweet, semi-sweet, and dry. And we're looking possibly at expanding that again into fruit and spice and other categories. And, I know you had Frank Goldbeck out from Golden Coast Meadery not too long ago, and he's big into the wild fermentation stuff. And so that's another category in our experimental area, or open specialty, where we can start expanding categories as well. So as these things pop up in the industry, we want to be able to recognize them and accommodate for them and to pull that into the competition, as well as if we have any continuing education for commercial producers, we'd like to get people in who are experts in that category and have them speak on it, whether that's from academia or whether it's from industry. The information is just as valuable coming from each.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait to see where things go in future years.
Me too.
Sounds like the trend is going from towards fewer and fewer Weirdemels and more different categories.
Well, the Weirdemel will have its own category. I don't know that we call it Weirdemel, but one man's Weirdemel is another man's spiced fruit mead, or a wild fermented mead, or a breaded mead made with a saison yeast, or a eggplant, pomegranate, horseradish, salmonomel.
We had a horseradish one that one year. That was different.
Yeah, it was different. But it's funny because, I heard over and over from a lot of the commercial producers that were judging the home competition, man, these home meat makers are really thinking outside the box. And I said, there is no box. That box went away years ago.
Oh, yeah.
There's no box. There is no rectangle involved in the home mead making world. They just run with it and come up with these brilliant different kinds of ideas. And it's really starting to take hold in the commercial producing industry as well. We see all kinds of really creative different meads out there coming from commercial producers now. And so they've pretty much left the box behind as well. And again, just with phenomenal quality. And just really great attention to detail in the process and the fermentation and sanitation, making sure that everything is being produced in the most favorable possible condition as possible.
I love it. I mean, just the creativity that's happening out there is just stunning. I mean, I've been in this long enough now to see categories get created, to see styles be invented, and it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is what really makes the mead world great, is that, you know, the emerging styles that we see, along with the popularity of different kinds of fermentation methodologies and different kinds of yeast or even bacteria. You know, we saw at UC Davis just earlier in the year, in February when I was up there, Chick Brenneman, along with the assistant winemaker there at UC Davis, did 3 different meads with non-Saccharomyces cerevisiae yeast. And they were all right in there with the stuff that was produced by, you know, commercially available yeast strains via the Cerevisiae or Baianus. One of them was the Stormarella bachellaris, and it produced a very nice mead. It needed some time, it needed to integrate, and probably some changes in the fermentation process, but, you know, the basics were there. So it's not just for breakfast anymore. There are many different ways to get there, and many different vehicles, be it yeast or bacteria, to get to that end. And it's really up to the imagination of the mead maker and where he wants to go. You know, this is, the sciencey part of it is there. You have to know the science in order to make it work. But once the science is become second nature to you, and you're used to working with certain kinds of honeys in certain kinds of ways, with certain kinds of yeast or whatever it is you're choosing to make that fermentation happen, then it becomes art. Because once you've got the basics, handled, and you can make a strong basic recipe, then it's all about improvising. And really that's what we're starting to see now, is people who have a very strong grasp of the basics, who can make, a basic mead and make it well over and over and over again, are now branching out and taking that knowledge of the basics and using it to improvise and make these wonderfully complex and structured meads that sit as any table as any Burgundy or Bordeaux or Rhone wine or Rioja or Champagne. This is all phenomenal stuff that we're seeing now. It's world class. We have specific information now about fermentation, and mead, the fermented beverage made from honey, is out there and it is competing everywhere.
It's so cool seeing all this happen, and having been inside of it, sometimes it's hard to see the trends without stepping out and talking back into somebody who's inside like you. Like you're being right now, so I can stand over here and go, "Oh wow, look at this."
Yeah, it's really neat. I mean, I'm just glad I'm a part of it. I've waited a long time for somebody else but just me, way back when, that knew anything about it, and all of a sudden there's just been this explosion of great information and great techniques and great, all kinds of great ways to produce great mead, and it's really gratifying to see that.
It really is. Well, I know you're like the guys earlier. You're worn out. You've been a busy guy for the last 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, we've really worked pretty hard. The whole crew just killed it this year. We did an absolutely brilliant job of putting this thing on. We got a lot of just really great and really sincere feedback from all of the participants. Home mead makers and commercial mead makers, the community food share, the hotel itself, they love us. We're a lot of fun according to them, and we want to keep doing that and making it that way. So, for us, it was a really good year. We're very, very happy that people enjoyed it, and we want to keep improving that experience as well, not just for the not just for the people that are mead-centric,